an absolute miracle in New Orleans. The Boston Celtics have won a game. What's up, everyone, and welcome in to Your Celtics Source, home of your 1-3 Boston Celtics. The Celtics get the win 122-90 in an absolute blowout in the fourth quarter, outscoring the Celtics or the Pelicans 35-12 in that final frame. But I really thought that this game was, played well throughout the entire game by the Celtics. Yes, they weren't up big and, they struggled to, score at first. But I thought they did a great job on the offensive glass, securing the ball, or defensive glass, securing rebounds, not letting New Orleans get a second chance, which has been the plague for the Celtics the entire season to date. Right? Just too many second chance points. And yes, it continues to be a problem, even with the Pelicans going small in this game. But in the end, the Celtics do enough that it's not overwhelmingly hurting them. Right? They only give up, I believe, 11 offensive rebounds compared to the 18 they had against the Pistons. And off of that, only 20 points. So such a huge difference than the previous games where they were just giving up entire quarters worth of points just on rebounding alone. But, we're going to get into all the players' individual performances. Anthony Simons finally had a breakthrough game. I thought Payton Pritchard did a great job of playmaking and getting other guys involved. Jaylen Brown, he took a step back in this game for sure. But I thought Luka Garza had a terrific game. And then Queta had a terrific game as well. His points are not necessarily going to show up, right? He only scored 6 points. But it was what he was able to do on the defensive boards, rebounding ball. He had 11 rebounds, 4 blocks as well, contesting shots without fouling. He only picked up, how many fouls did he pick up in this game? He picked up 4 fouls, which is a fantastic improvement from the previous games where he was getting into foul trouble and having to sit out in the fourth quarter to avoid being, basically to avoid fouling out of the game. And whether you foul out of the game or not, if you're sitting on the bench, because of that, it really is the exact same thing. So it's great to see that Queta can be on the floor in the fourth quarter to basically close out a game for you, because he's one of your main guys on this team. And it's not the scoring that, he's bringing to the table. It is that athleticism and that, centerish basketball, contesting shots, blocking shots, all the things that made Porzingis so good, Al Horford so good, Luke Kornet so good. Queta is starting to get into a flow over these last 2 games or so. And I really think you're one of your X factors this season, because he can do so much for you in the rebounding game, the biggest problem that the Celtics have. I also don't think that the Pelicans helped them out going small, right? The word on the Celtics through the first 3 games has to be go big and just attack with all guys on the offensive glass, and you're going to win a game like that. And so I'm surprised that the Pelicans, with Zion Williamson being out, even so, I feel like they could have went with more size and try to, just force the Celtics, basically attack their fatal flaw. But they didn't really do that tonight, and so they allowed the Celtics to basically get these rebounds. And, you give credit to the Celtics. I think that's been a huge emphasis from Joe Mazzulla, obviously, And every day I think they work on it. So, it makes sense that they're improving on it. But you can't count this game as like it is a get right game in a sense for that aspect of the game. But you also have the fact that you're not playing a very great rebounding team. And so you have to take that into account when you think about whether the rebounding problems have improved, right? 11 offensive rebounds is, pretty good, but I think, that's against a team that's not great at rebounding, like I just said. So when you actually play a team that is going, like the Pistons, that just absolutely attacks the boards, you're going to struggle again. So we just have to see minor steps in the right direction on that aspect, right? It's not going to be perfect any night. They're going to give up tons of rebounds each and every night, many that we wish that we could have back. But it's a learning curve with this team, and I thought that this was the first game where they actually showed that maybe there is a way that they can improve on that end. We talked about, the rebounding. More on the defense, Anthony Simons continues to improve on his just IQ on the defensive end, right? It's the not picking up stupid fouls. It's staying on your guy. There hasn't been much of a problem so far on him guarding the main ball handler. We've talked about this. It's been the backdoor cuts and off-ball movement, and it seems like every game, Simons continues to get better at that and stay on his guy and force deflections and help this team get out in transition, play quickly, which is, I think, this team's calling card if they want to win games. And that's really what they did tonight. In that fourth quarter, Anthony Simons had, as I mentioned off the top, his best game as the Celtics so far. He finishes the game with a game-high 25 points, 6 rebounds, just 1 assist, but it doesn't matter because he went 9 of 17, 6 of 13 overall, so super efficient from the field and from three, most importantly. And so, it doesn't matter if you're getting assists because you're looking at the assists when you have a very inefficient game and you're looking about how, well, he scored 30 points, but if he took 25 shots to get there, then he wasn't really helping the team. But when you're scoring this efficiently, yeah, it helps the team because you're not giving up possessions where you could make a play. You have scored on that possession. Simons, right? He comes in as, I think, probably the third scoring option on this team. You have Brown, you have White, and then I had Pritchard and Simons, neck and neck in terms of their ability to score the basketball. And, Pritchard has had a little bit of a slow start to the season, along with Simons, and both of them, made their impact on this game and got into a rhythm in different ways, right? We'll talk about Pritchard in a second. It was the assists and playmaking, while his three-point shooting continues to, slump a little bit. But like I said, against the Pistons game, I thought he found better ways to score when his threes weren't falling, right? Getting into the paint, kicking it out, and then getting it back, and getting more open shots, trying to get into a rhythm, which, he finishes the game with 18 points. I think he was second on the team, 2 of 7, right? So his threes are still not great. 7 of 15 overall, though. Another pretty solid, efficient night. And, of course, the 8 assists, right? When you can't score, but you're getting everyone else involved, you still have to be defended like you're a number one scorer. You still have to get a team's full attention. And that can, help in many ways. Because, if you're Pritchard and you don't have it falling right now, instead of just chucking up threes and, missing them, which obviously is not going to help the team, you can become that playmaker and not even think about scoring, especially in the first half, second half, when your scoring isn't vital for a team's win. You're not right. Obviously, if you're wide open, you have to take a shot. But I thought Pritchard did a great job in that first half of just being poised, being patient, not rushing shots that he didn't need to. Just when he didn't have it, he would play it out to someone else, and then he would get the ball back because of the movement of other guys and the drive and kick, and that gave him some wide open, mid-range shots that he was able to take advantage of. Luka Garza, I thought we're still looking for that number 2 center, or at least big man. And I thought it was going to be Chris Boucher. They would go with a Queta against big guys. They'd go with a Boucher against smaller guys. And I think the reason they're not playing Chris Boucher right now is just because of the rebounding problems. Right, Boucher has not been great on the boards, and you just need some size on this team to secure the ball. So it seems like Boucher at the moment has lost his, rotation spot maybe. And Luka Garza comes back after that concussion and little bloody nose that he had against I guess it was against the Sixers, so he doesn't play against the Knicks. He comes back, plays okay against the Pistons, and then has a great game tonight with 16 points, 6 rebounds. So just, when you're out there, you just get your hand on every rebound you can and help your team limit the chances for the opponent, right? If our centers go out there and they score just 2 points a game and they're getting 8 rebounds, that's a success. The scoring is a bonus part on this team because you have White, you have Brown, you have Pritchard, you have Simons. All of those guys can be your scorers, Hauser as well, right? Tatum is missed so much right now, and it's not his scoring. It's the fact that he was probably your best, most viable rebounder last season on the team, right? When we talk about the center, the lack of center depth right now, it's the inability to rebound, not the inability to block shots and contest shots. That might very well become a problem, right? When you go up against some of the more dynamic guards and better center play, right? That might become a problem. But right now, Queta's not having a problem blocking shots. Luka Garza is not having a problem blocking shots. It's then can you get back in a position to rebound the ball? And it seems like in these first couple of games, obviously this one excluded, they were unable to do that. But now, hopefully they have turned the right direction on the rebounding front. But, I can't continue to harp on the rebounding thing because it's just going to be a game-by-game basis. What else in this game? I thought just the Celtics' ability to, basically in that fourth quarter pull away and then not take their foot off the gas to continue to push. And that also obviously helped, or at least was helped by the shot making from White, from Pritchard a little bit, and then obviously Anthony Simons, most importantly. Derrick White, 1 of 9 from 3 in this game. So just, 5 of 14 overall. So he is in a awful slump right now. And I actually came into this year saying Derrick White had to be your leading scorer. And obviously, it's still really early, but I think it might be worth looking at his mechanics, trying to figure out what's going on with him. And it might be that there's nothing wrong with his shot. It's the fact that he's now being guarded by, a team's second best or maybe even first best defender. And so, he's not used to getting all that pressure in his face, especially when other guys around him are not making shots. So, it might just take some time for him to get used to this new role. But, I'm going to wrap it up here. Follow on social media. We will be live after Wednesday's game. against the Cavs, and the Cavs are rolling right now. The Celtics have to play a great game and keep Jared Allen, Evan Mobley off the glass to have a chance in that game. I'm very worried about the game. I think that could be a blowout early in this first quarter, early in the second quarter, and the Cavs might not look back. Obviously, the Cavs are, a NBA title favorite right now. At least in the Eastern Conference, I'd probably have them right above the Knicks, given that didn't they beat the Knicks on opening night? Or maybe the Knicks beat them. But either way, those two teams neck and neck up there on the top of the standings. But yeah, follow on social media and check out the latest podcast episode. We recorded it actually live right before Game 3. So we're talking about just Games 1 and 2 mostly. But, after that Game 3 performance, the same ideas and themes still apply. Obviously, it got better tonight. But we talked about rebounding. We talked about scoring. We talked about Pritchard and whether he should come off the bench or not. Obviously, if, this game changed that narrative around, given that he had 8 assists and was just making plays for everyone out there, not just himself. But, until next time, once again, the Celtics beat the New Orleans Pelicans, get their first win of the season, 122-90, a 32-point blowout, all of it in that fourth quarter. But until next time, go Celtics.
Brown lets it fly. Bottom, a three. From behind, knocking it away. Tatum cashes in. Pritchard got it back inside.